The creators are like the entrepreneurs. You get to make your own hours, make your own brand, make your own time, but if you do not show up to work, no one else will do it for you. So what happens when the excitement is no longer there? The change is hard, yet you're completely on your own. Well, I have a solution for you by the end of this video. Welcome to the TohirT channel. My name is Tahir, and today we're talking about how the constant drive to change things around in your business conflict directly with the way the creator economy works and what to do about it. Let's do this. One of the great things is watching your favorite small creator go viral. Slowly they amass the audience, their popularity spreads the countries and eventually even the continents. They get to switch full time to what they're really passionate about and create to support their living. Then they start creating the same kind of content that helped them go viral over and over and over again. They change small things here and there, but eventually the content gets stale. It gets stale for the viewer because they've seen it for the past few years. And most importantly, it's no longer as exciting to produce for the creator themselves. But the YouTube algorithm is ruthless. All the social medias out there, they reward the consistency. So any kind of change risks destroying those years worth of work for you amassing that audience. So what do? This is exactly the situation Gerald Undone, one of my favorite creators, found himself in.
There's a fear that goes along with these YouTube videos where I've been known for a certain structure. Being your persona, like I'm mostly myself on the camera and what I do, that's pretty much me, but it's still a performance, and it's like, I don't want to keep performing all the time and doing the same tricks.
Gerald is famous for his in-depth reviews of the video production equipment, the lights, the cameras, the microphones, any technology around it. He's amazing at it. And he's been working hard to develop the channel and get it to the place where it is today for the past few years. And as Colin Samir put it in the following segment, you have to first identify that audience. Once you found it, in Gerald's case, you have to work hard to achieve certain level of success, and when it comes to subscribers and total number of viewers, but then you have to work even harder to retain it.
So at the core of it, we're in the advertising business, but what that means is that we're in the audience business. So as a creator, your job is to engage a specific audience and to turn that audience into a community. Now, a community is based on consistency. Once you have a community that's engaged on a consistent basis, you can point them in different directions.
Now, if you find yourself in Gerald's position, what do? Because this is an interesting debate. Would you, as a viewer, continue watching the same person who you subscribed to while watching the content A, and a year later they started producing content B? Not many people would be that loyal in the world where the Netflixes, HBOs, different sports channels, other occupations, and our job and our families are all vying for those 24 hours that we have. And we also have to sleep somehow all in between those activities. That is why the eyeball attention, the fact that people are actually watching what you're producing, is such a valuable commodity. It's hard to obtain, it's absolutely limited. There are only 24 hours in the world, so you have to keep them focused. And for you to keep them focused, you have to keep your content focused. That's why you see big creators like MrBeast have now close to a dozen channels supporting different angles to their content, because they understand that people need something to latch on. You have to give them consistent experience, consistent type of creative environment that they can go and enjoy themselves in, enjoy the content that you're producing. And if their eyes start to wander, literally, you might lose that audience like this. This is why in Gerald's position there is so much hesitation, there's so much concern, there's that tough emotion behind the decision to try and do something different in the fear of losing what you've gained. For someone like him at his level, it's also the financial topic. For him, the difference between retaining that audience and not retaining the audience is the difference between paying and not paying for those monthly bills and rent. But what if I tell you, in this current stressful environment of being a creator, that there's a way for you to only have 100 to 1,000 followers who will fully support your creative process. Let's hear out Li Jin explaining the following.
I consider the passion economy as like a broader umbrella, and the creator economy is a slice of that. It's a new type of work that is arising and is predicated on building up an audience, creating really unique, compelling content. But there's all sorts of other industries that are being affected by the passion economy model, where people are going into business for themselves, developing an audience online, and providing maybe a product, a physical product, or an intangible service to a select set of customers and earning an income directly from them.
Li Jin is a venture capitalist primarily focused on the passion economy. The passion economy is best described as a group of very passionate individuals supporting their favorite creator with their hard-earned money in the form of the monthly fee. Patreon, OnlyFans are great examples of creating that platform for the creators to come, cater to a very specific narrow audience versus millions of people on YouTube, but catering to them well and gaining that revenue that allows them to sustain their living. I made a whole video over here about the Patreon and how it influences the creator economy and how it provides that support. So this is why my idea for Gerald was around leveraging Patreon as a test bed for that interesting creative content that he wants to experiment with, yet he does not want to affect the actual main channel audience. And yeah, I might have got carried away a little bit when pitching him this idea, because I really feel for the guy and I really feel passionate about supporting him. So of course I went and, being an ops guy, created a document outlining the entire process. Here's it over here on the screen, and I'll link it down below if you are curious on the topic. But essentially I created the document for him. I might have emailed it to him, sent it to him on Twitter, and I want to say I also put it in the comments on his video. I think at this point he just realized that I might be stalking him, but it's just me being passionate about the topic and me being passionate about supporting my favorite creator. After all, where else would you get an audience of people who are actually willing to support you with their dime, and also the same audience that feel passionate about what you create, so they would be there to consume your content, and that content will sit on a separate platform and will not affect your main platform, in this case YouTube's performance and the way the algorithm perceives your audience. This is great. This is one of those benefits that we should leverage more as creatives. We should leverage those channels that surround us. But behind every one of those decisions, there's a lot of investments and the considerations to make. The need to help with the diversification of the monetization for the creators was recognized by YouTube themselves. They do not only copied a little bit the Patreon's approach and created a thing called membership. Join your favorite creators club and essentially pay them a monthly fee in return for some special perks that they would offer. You can also today provide something like super chat or super comment, basically tipping your favorite creator a one-time fee for the great job that they've done with one of the recent videos. And yes, there is always the merch. There's always this infamous merch out there. I've spoken about it in a couple of these videos over here. In my eyes, the challenge that every creator will face at this decision is how much time and the attention span they have to support all of those different channels. Because even my idea about leveraging Patreon requires an additional work, and it will affect to some extent the way and how much you produce on your main channel. Similar goes to the merch, similar goes to any kind of like additional features you will offer to your membership subscribers on YouTube. As a creator, especially if you're working by yourself, you have to manage and figure out how you're gonna fit all of those action items in your schedule. That is why I do not blame that there are creators out there who figured out their niche, found the type of content that they produce, and they just stick with it and grind it out day in and day out for years now. One of my favorite examples is Vanossgaming. Great channel. Used to watch it way back, years back. Recently, checked back with him. The dude is still producing the same kind of videos. I kid you not. He still makes the same videos about the same video games that I've seen like 5-6 years ago. And that's okay. The best part is that that allows him to create that platform for himself that still generates the income that helps him support his other activities, other passion projects that he has outside of YouTube, music, whatever else he does. So if as a creator, you have the drive to support yourself through the creator economy and you're okay with just grinding out the same type of content and your audience loves it, all the power to you. There's no shame in that game. But for some of the others, they do have to think about how they want to manage their schedule and by what ways do they want to create the opportunities to fund those creative projects on the side.
Guys! What? Do you hear that?
For any creator out there who might be watching this video, my main recommendation to you is really think about this process as two-stage approach. First stage for you is really simple. Just make the best content possible. Don't worry about diverse monetization. Don't worry about trying to go in all of these channels, create a Patreon, create separate content for the Patreon. This is a lot. Your primary focus should be to create the best possible content you can get. Get good at editing, get good at thumbnails, get good at creating the storylines behind the projects that you're passionate about. Once you amass enough of the audience for you to support that entire infrastructure, and that audience size can differ. If you're in the finance channel, you might be okay with 50 to 100,000 subscribers. If you're like a gaming channel, you might need million+ subscribers when you call yourself prepared for the next stage at the level where you're at. And for the second stage, that's when you can start thinking about different platforms. And I'll again pitch Patreon just because I think Patreon is great. It allows you to create a diversity of the platforms that you operate on. In case something happens on YouTube, you always have Patreon. Something happens on Patreon, you always have YouTube. You're not sitting and kind of like putting all of your eggs in the same basket. And at that point in time, once you start funneling some of those people, say from YouTube, over to Patreon to support you, you have to treat them like your co-producers. Now, this is the group of individuals who are passionate enough about what you do to support you with their hard-earned money, so you have to respect it and you have to treat them like partners in crime when it comes to creating new type of content, using them as a feedback group, making sure they provide you with the honest feedback, and then you slowly can start funneling that new content that you created on Patreon over to your main channel and see how the audience on the main channel reacts. The important exercise between all of those things that I'm going through right now, even personally, I'm going to talk about more in the coming videos, is how do you think about your audience and who is your audience, what they're interested in, and depending on the difference in the audiences that you currently have with your main content and the potential audience that you're going to attract with this new content will be the deciding factor in the strategy on where this new type of content goes. Does it go to the main channel? Is your audience close enough to the new audience that you're targeting that they will be okay with seeing both types of content? Or do you go the route that people like Mr. Beast follow and you create multiple channels for multiple type of content, and at that point you hopefully have the revenue bandwidth to have editors, to have a team to help you support both channels? There are a lot of decision-making factors in between all of those stages. Making a good video alone is the hardest one, let alone trying to think of yourself as a multi-platform creator. But, as one of my favorite executives that I used to work for used to say, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
He'd say to me, Sami, be very, very careful. If being successful was easy, everyone would do it.
Did you know that creators face this kind of a challenge? Do you think my solution will actually work? And did you see other creators or other entrepreneurs navigating that environment of a change and being successful in deploying maybe alternative strategies when it comes to diversifying their content and keeping themselves excited and engaged about what they produce? Share your thoughts, ideas, and examples in the section below. This is why I get more and more curious about how the creator economy works. Ultimately, I'm curious about the business side of the world and I like and enjoy the problems that I solve in my 9-to-5, but I also really can see how the creator economy now reaches the stage where a lot of the lessons that we learn in that old school environment are applicable here, and it's all about figuring out which one of the tools are more fitting towards that challenge that the creators face. And for me, someone like Gerald Undone, besides the fact that the guy completely stole the color purple, my favorite color, I'll forgive him. He taught me a ton through his videos. He is a great example of the creator who's at that stage where he's about to hit the next evolution of the growth, the next evolution of his channel, and there's a lot of that hesitation and double thinking and overthinking about what that future might be. But in my eyes, he's someone who's been great at creating the content in the past. You cannot take it away from him. He's going to be amazing at whatever else he's going to create in the future, and we're going to all enjoy it as we observe him grow further and further. And for you, if you're curious to find other inspirational individuals, other stories about people who are trying to tackle the problems, whether it's a creative, the business, entrepreneurial world, well, there are plenty of them on this channel because I'm here every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video with some of your friends. Here are a couple more videos for you to enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.